A very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining our Homeopathy 24/7 podcast. We are going to be speaking to an array of international guests who will share their knowledge and experiences of homeopathy with you. We will discuss all types of subjects such as remedies, symptoms, and stories of health. No matter where you are with your homeopathic journey, we aim to inspire you on your quest to natural health and living. The podcast is brought to you by Mary Greensmith, the founder of Homeopathy 24/7, which is a global platform connecting you with a homeopath wherever you are in the world, 24 hours a day. So let's get started with today's chat. Please welcome Mary Greensmith.
Hello, good morning. So lovely to see you all, and a very warm welcome to Kirsty Richards from New Zealand. Lovely to see you, Kirsty.
Thanks, Mary. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm hoping that you can tell us a little bit more about becoming a homeopath, what you do as a homeopath, what you enjoy as a homeopath, and a little bit about the types of people that you see.
Okay, well, I'll start at the beginning. I guess like a lot of women in particular, I became interested in homeopathy when I was pregnant with my son about 20 years ago. At the time, I was actually working at an organic company, and they used to stock homeopathic products, and I didn't know anything about these products at all, but I was very naturally minded, and I didn't want to have anything that was going to harm myself or my growing baby. So I thought, I was having all sorts of funny pregnancy symptoms and aches and pains and feeling sick and things like that. That kind of goes with being pregnant. So I thought, well, I'll try some homeopathy. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't even know if it would work. And to my surprise, it did work, and it worked really, really well. And that sort of sparked this whole interest for me. So when my son was about 2, I thought, right, I'm going to train and become a homeopath. And then it's just sort of snowballed from there. So, and in fact, yesterday was my 12th year anniversary of graduating. So that was rather lovely.
Oh, that's fantastic news. And how popular is homeopathy in New Zealand?
It's not, I mean, it's kind of on the fringes. I mean, it's becoming more popular, but I think people still get homeopathy confused with naturopathy and other natural, healing modalities. But it is becoming increasingly popular. I do find that it's more popular overseas. I think, New Zealand, we're at the bottom of the world, and sometimes we're a bit slow to catch up with everyone else. But it is becoming increasingly popular, and I do find that pregnant women, in particular, seem to start to use homeopathy during, that time when they're wanting to find something a little bit more natural. So we're getting there. We're slowly catching up.
And of course, homeopathy is so perfect for during pregnancy, isn't it? And childbirth as well, and even conception, and of course for newborn babies, which of course so many other medicines aren't useful. So why is homeopathy so good during pregnancy?
I think, well, the thing that appealed to me, and the thing that relates to homeopathy in general, is that it's gentle and there's no nasty side effects. So because it's an energy medicine, basically the remedy's either going to work or it's going to do nothing, and it's not going to hurt the mother, it's not going to hurt the baby. And if somebody is taking medication, that's fine. It's not going to interact with their medication. It's very, very gentle, and I think that's one of the things I love about homeopathy. You don't have to be scared that you're doing any harm or that there's going to be any nasty side effects that you can get from other things. So, it's such a beautiful healing modality. I think we're so blessed to have it, actually.
Absolutely. And this is the reason why we're doing this, because people need to know that there is a choice, there is a safe choice. And of course, homeopathy is the remedy that works with the body, not against it. So it's helping your own body and your own metabolism, your own health, self-healing system to repair, rather than just stopping symptoms. So tell me, Kirsty, because I know that you see a lot of ladies during pregnancy, what sort of thing are you helping with? What sort of thing can they start using homeopathy for, or come and see a homeopath to help them?
Oh, well, it's like you said before, even, preconception, if people are having fertility problems, homeopathy can be wonderful for that, especially if ladies have taken the contraceptive pill in the past, or, any kind of hormonal treatments or things like that. Homeopathy can work wonderfully to sort of restore the body back to health, and to help promote natural conception. And then once somebody is pregnant, it's everything from nausea, sciatica, heartburn, insomnia, diastasis recti. Sometimes when the stomach muscles can split, often you get that sort of more post-pregnancy than during pregnancy. The pubis symphysis as well, which is, when there's that or pelvic pain. There's so many things. Sometimes even people can get some weird kind of hormonal rashes during pregnancy. It's amazing what the body can sort of throw up. And sometimes, often emotional things too. It can bring out, anxieties and fears for people during pregnancy. And if someone's had often a fractured relationship with their own mother during that time, it can bring up all sorts of things. And homeopathy can really help.
That's amazing. So actually what you're saying is anything that is uncomfortable, painful, not working quite as it should be, you could see a homeopath, you could start taking homeopathic remedies, and your body is really going back into balance, so that you can enjoy your pregnancy much more.
Absolutely. And I did see a quote somewhere, and I can't quite remember who said it, but it was something along the lines of, when women take homeopathy in pregnancy, they're basically setting up this newborn baby or this unborn child for good health, because they're clearing all their own stuff. And it's basically going to be giving this unborn child a fantastic head start in life, which they wouldn't have had before. So it's, it's kind of a double whammy in that regard.
That's a really good point, and I hadn't really thought about that. And yes, we talk to so many people, don't they, and say, I just wish I had known about homeopathy beforehand. But of course, even having it in the womb is going to help you come into the world a lot more naturally, and boosting your immunity effectively. So let's talk for a moment about childbirth. What can happen during childbirth? Is childbirth something that people can take a kit and take remedies themselves? Do they need training? What happens?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there are birth kits available, and homeopathy is so wonderful during birth, because there's so many emotions and fears and all sorts of things that can go around birth. And remedies like aconite, which is a wonderful remedy for anxiety. I always think fear and fright, aconite, and that can be wonderful for birth partners or supporting people too, if they're getting a little bit anxious about what's happening. But yes, I mean, obviously the woman's going to be busy. She's giving birth, but if she's able to, most birth kits have a little instruction sheet or something with them, or their birth partner or husband or whatever can be there, and they're usually pretty easy to follow. So it's quite easy to administer. You don't have to have a degree in homeopathy to use these remedies during pregnancy and birth.
That's amazing to hear. And I have seen that homeopaths as well sometimes do offer a training for mum and birthing partner as well beforehand to go through. So that also is something that people could be looking into. And of course, yes, as you said, we've got remedies for all the things that normal Western medicine doesn't have answers for. Those emotions that you're going through, building up the immunity, the different things that that we know so well with homeopathy. What about when things go wrong, perhaps with prolapse or other things? Can homeopathy help then?
It can, and it's funny because prolapse is one of my specialty areas, and a lot of people are so surprised when they hear that homeopathy can help with prolapse, because I think people just sort of have a mental block. They think homeopathy can help with bruises or sprains or nausea, but some people, they find it hard to get the concept that it could actually help with prolapse. But there's really no difference between homeopathy helping with a prolapse or helping with nausea. The principles are really the same. But there's lots of remedies that can help with prolapse, and often pregnancy can be a causation for prolapse, and often it can also be for older women during menopause, and there's a change in hormones and things like that. But it's such a wonderful thing, to know that homeopathy can help with prolapse, because the conventional way of treating it is to have pretty invasive surgery, and that's not always successful, and can have quite a lot of side effects and things too. So using a homeopathic option can make such a huge difference to people's lives.
Wow, that's incredible. Have you got any cases that you can share with any of your treatments or people that you've talked to about prolapse?
Yeah, well, there's been a few. I mean, one of the most, and and just to reiterate, this is not something that you would treat at home yourself. I mean, obviously, you need to see a professional homeopath for prolapse, and some of the remedies I'm going to mention, they're not. I don't suggest that everyone goes out and buys them and self treats, but there was one lady who had a very unusual symptom, in homeopathy. We're always looking for the strange, rare and peculiar symptoms, because those are really good clues to remedies. And she had a very unusual symptom of having a sensation like a bubble of air or water in the vagina. And I thought, okay, that's unusual. So I repertorised that. And a remedy that I wasn't overly familiar with came up, and it is Loxodonta, which is actually, it's elephant milk is the other name for it. It had some other symptoms as well that tied in with it. And she responded beautifully. And it was really interesting to see. And, prior, we'd worked together for a few months, and she was thinking she was going to have to go to the surgical route. She was a young woman in her 30s. She had two children. She really didn't want to have to go down, to have surgery and all the downtime and everything associated with that. And she's done beautifully on it. And yeah, she's happy. Her prolapse symptoms have resolved, and all because of this wonderful remedy.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you touched on the fact there that you're looking for specific symptoms that will lead you to a very specific remedy. And it's really what we do as homeopaths, isn't it? So obviously we're teaching lots of people about first aid remedies and how to resolve certain symptoms that come up for acute conditions. But then, of course, we are able to help some really chronic issues, some ongoing issues, some tissue change issues, and some large things that would result in surgery if you can't find something to help. So the reason people would come to you as a homeopathic practitioner is really to get that in-depth information, get those strange, rare and peculiar symptoms, and tie all of your different symptoms and your health history together in order to find it's often a series of remedies as well, isn't it? That people go through on their recovery to full health.
Absolutely. And there's often an emotional component that ties in with it too, because, nothing ever happens in isolation. So, as holistic beings, there's, there'll be a physical manifestation of something, but there's usually some emotional aspect tied in with that as well. And I always find it interesting, when we're having our in-depth conversations with our clients, really during that conversation, the client is really telling us the remedy that they need. We just need to listen, and that they tell us, but that's why you really need a professional to take the case, because we can't do that ourselves. If we're trying, if someone's trying to treat themselves, we don't have that objective view. So you really need to talk to a professional, and then they can tie all those clues and bits and pieces together that may seem insignificant, but it can lead to something that's life-changing.
Yes, of course. So what you're saying is you're covering a whole lot of different aspects and tying them up together, but the words that somebody uses often indicate a particular remedy. That's amazing to hear. And so I know that you are, as you explained, down under the world, looking up. How does that work with seeing clients around the world? Is there any problem at all?
No, actually, it works wonderfully. I think with my time zone seems to tie in quite well, especially with my American clients. And I often get people saying to me, "Oh, will you post the remedy to me?" And of course, I would love to, but they would never get their remedies in time. So, I have affiliations with various pharmacies around the world. So I just send the client their prescription, how they take it, and then I give them a list of pharmacies where they can get that from locally. And it's super easy and very quick and simple system. And it works really, really well.
Fantastic. You are absolutely the reason why Homeopathy 24/7 was born, because I used to lie in bed or, be doing something. I think I need somebody the other side of the world to be looking after this person right now. And Kirsty, you are everything I ever hoped for Homeopathy 24/7. So thank you so much for coming and being part of our wonderful team, and thank you so much for being there as a homeopath and sharing your skills and your time with people around the world. And what is so amazing for me is also that you live on a tiny island off New Zealand as well.
Yes.
But you're able to provide such a brilliant service for people anywhere in the world. And if anybody here is pregnant or hoping to be pregnant, or just had a baby being born, or has got any other women's issues, just please do contact Kirsty. We will put her website underneath in the notes. It is www.wholebeinghealth.co.nz. So we will put that down so that you can link straight on it, and you'll be able to make contact with Kirsty and find out how you can work with a homeopath to help you through your times of need. Because the wonderful, wonderful thing I think about homeopathy is there are bits that you can do on your own. There are bits that you need help with a professional, and all of the time you carry on learning. And even when you're working with a homeopath, you carry on learning about your own symptoms, about the remedies that suit you and your family. And it's just a health journey that never stops, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yep, that's for
Fantastic.
sure.
Absolutely
Thank you,
lovely
Mary.
speaking to you, Kirsty. Thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to many years of homeopathy.
Thanks, Mary. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Kirsty, for going through all of this with me today. It's been so lovely to talk about pregnancy and everything that you're doing. Next week, we are going to be talking to Dr. Varsha M. Corona, and we will be talking about fertility. So actually, it's all related, because homeopathy has such good results with fertility. So it'll be wonderful to speak to Dr. Varsha and find out just what she's doing. Speak to you then.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to listening to our next one. Please don't forget to follow our podcast on your chosen channel, and please do leave us a review so we can continue to share homeopathy with as many people as possible. If you do have any questions, please do reach out to us on any of our social platforms mentioned in the show notes. We at Homeopathy 24/7 hope to empower you on your natural health journey.